Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Big Picture commemorating the 2 decades of economic partnership with the ASEAN countries. India is hosting a commemorative summit here in the capital on Thursday where leaders of all the 10 nations of ASEAN will be participating. Over the years, India has also looked at the ASEAN nations for more and more economic and political partnership, which was evident in the recent Phnom Penh summit last month. ASEAN countries also has been looking at India and urging it to take more interest in the region. The Indian role in the region is key to all these countries, as India is expected to play a balancing role vis-a-vis China. Moreover, it also fits into the India's Look East policy, which is gaining ground by the year. Today in this special edition of the Big Picture, we have journalists from the ASEAN region who are in the capital to attend the commemorative summit. We will discuss the various aspects of Indo-ASEAN relations and get their valuable perception about it. Today I have with me Nophakhun, editor of Krungthep Turakij TV and also senior editor of The Nation from Thailand, Nguyen Phuong, world news editor and director of international news department of Tienphong Daily, Vietnam, Yuli Ismartono, deputy chief editor, Tempo Weekly magazine, Indonesia, and Shen, Brunei Times, Brunei. Welcome to all of you. Let me come to you, Mr. Nophakhun first.
Yes. Okay.
You people, is this India-ASEAN relationship?
Yes.
As far as your country, Thailand, is concerned, how important is it?
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that Thailand is looking up as part of the ASEAN towards India?
Yeah, I think for Thailand, India's Look East policy is very important for us because we want to diversify our relationships, economics, security, and other forms of relations, not only with China, but we also like to have India and other big powers in Asia. I think the most concrete example would be the 3-nation highways that will link India's northeast with Myanmar and then Thailand.
Yes.
And
this has been in the offing for a long time.
Yes.
Is the problem from Indian side, or is it from the Thailand side, or is it the situation in Myanmar which is creating this delay?
I think now it's very lucky that Myanmar is opening up, so there wouldn't be any missing link between the 3 nations. Not only Thailand, but it can go all the way down to Cambodia, to Vietnam, and also Laos and other. From the north will be, north-south thing will be Malaysia and Singapore also. So it will be a great connectivity between India and ASEAN countries.
Right. So coming to you, Nguyen.
Yes.
You are from Vietnam.
Yes.
Where the recent summit also was held, and you think that the India-ASEAN relationship are the ASEAN nations looking up to India to play a balancing role with China? How far is it important for India to play that balancing role? Or you think it is just that all this hype surrounding, every time there is a ASEAN summit, India is, the Indian media at least talks about this balancing role with China, and which is what the ASEAN nations are looking for. How far is that a reality as far as the ASEAN nations are concerned?
I think India's role is very important for ASEAN in general speaking, and especially for Vietnam also, because India, to the Vietnamese people, we find India is very trusted friend. When we go and we work with you, we feel safe, we don't fear at all, and we don't see any threat and danger from you, India. That's why the Vietnamese people expect more cooperation and more assistance from India. We have a lot of potential for such kind of cooperation, not only in economic cooperation, but also in politics, diplomatic, and even military. Right. And today, India's role is growing years by years, and you become, as a matter of fact, India is a very big country in Asia, but so far you have contributed less than to the role you would be. So we expect more contribution, more responsibility as a big Asia country to ASEAN. And for Vietnam, we expect more presence of India, not only in economy, but also in military, also in politics and everything.
No, this is
So,
interesting. You're talking of not only economic partnership, but you want a military partnership. But how will that, maybe as far as India is concerned, the Indian foreign policy makers and, they are a little wary about getting into these kind of strategic relationships with your ASEAN countries, because it can create, already there is talk of India being used by, or India being looked up not only by the ASEAN nations, even by the US and other, United States especially, to have India as a balancing factor when it comes to China. So if you were talking about a military relationship with India, don't you think that can create some kind of a tension within the region as far as China-India relationships are concerned, and also ASEAN-China relations are concerned?
Yeah, we are very much interested in the oil project with India. And India is now have an oil project in the continental shelves of Vietnam. So within the Vietnamese water territory. And we want such kind of cooperation to be expanded further. And with the presence of the Indian oil company in the eastern seas of Vietnam, we believe that India also have a responsibility to defend its interests in that region.
No, you're talking of the South China Sea.
We don't call it South China Sea.
You don't call it South China Sea.
In Vietnam, we call it the East Sea of Vietnam.
East Sea of Vietnam, okay. This East Sea issue is a major issue. Indian oil companies came to East Sea. The ONGC and other companies had some interest there, but at certain point of time last year they said that we are withdrawing from there. Yeah. Do you think that withdrawal has caused any problems in the relations between India and Vietnam? And do you think that withdrawal was genuine withdrawal, or do you think there was a pressure from the Chinese which made India withdraw from there?
I think India should do more, not only one project, but more projects on the continental shelves of Vietnam. And that's what I think the Vietnamese government is ready to offer to the Indian oil company. Because we have seen that India has a show very strong
technology,
position
yes.
in against any threat from any country in the region. So we think with the presence of India in EC, so that is one kind of contribution to the stability and prosperity and peace also in the region. Also.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you Yuli Ismartono, do you also agree with what he says that India's increasing participation in this region will increase peace and stability? Because there are people certain experts who are cautioning India all the time, saying that be careful how much you move into this region, how much, because there is always this tensions or hopes or problems of tensions which can be created between India and China. Do you agree with him that you think India needs to be more, India's presence needs to be more in this region?
I think it would help, yes, to have India be present in the region. I don't think militarily is the answer.
Right.
ASEAN in general believes in dialogue,
right.
And there is a forum to try to resolve all kinds of conflicts, and it's called the ASEAN Regional Forum,
right.
which meets every year.
Right.
And India's presence in those forums, as well as in other forums involving ASEAN, would of course help, because it would provide that balancing factor that is needed in the Asian region.
When you say balancing factor, what do you mean? Balancing with whom? China?
Well, vis-a-vis China. We're
Okay.
I'm about China.
Yeah.
You have two big countries.
Right.
Two big countries, two populous countries with growing economies.
See, one thing which I'm very curious about, why are the ASEAN nations, why do they think that they need a balancing factor? Are they is there an anxiety, is there a fear that China, if it's allowed to move in and increase its presence there, at some point of time your countries, the entire all the countries' strength and their existence will be at stake? Is that the fear?
I don't think there's, you're talking about a kind of an invasion sort
Yes.
of. I don't think it's a kind of a modern day scenario. But yes, China can impose itself. The topic at conflict here, at issue in the East Sea or the East-South China Sea is a bunch of islands that purportedly
So
is rich in oil.
Indonesians call it South China Sea and not East Sea.
Yes, I think so. That's the international terminology.
Only Vietnam.
Only Vietnam
Only
calls it
Vietnam
East
calls
Sea.
it the East Sea.
Right.
Philippine call it the West Sea.
Oh, Philippines also.
To its west. Okay. Yeah, please continue. So you think that the Chinese presence, the fear of the imposition of the Chinese too much on your nation's various activities is what is why the ASEAN nations want India to be there more and more.
I think it goes beyond that.
It goes beyond that.
Even without the conflict, we see the need for India to be involved with ASEAN. Now, having said that, I think that long term, when we say India, it's India as a leader of SAARC,
Right.
or of the countries in SAARC.
Right.
We recognize this as India as the biggest country, the most economically developed country. But right now, let's say that India is the dialogue partner at the moment.
Right.
So even without any of this conflict, it would make sense for the Asian region to include SAARC and especially India.
Okay. You
Can
wanted
I
to
add a
say,
little
yes.
bit? Yeah, I think you missed the United States also when you talk about global power and regional power.
I was coming to that in the next segment. Anyway,
Yeah,
since
yeah.
you raised
My
this issue.
point is that the Asian power, China, India, and then the global power, United States, is returning to Asia Pacific, especially Southeast Asia and ASEAN in a big way. As you can see in that President Obama visit in Bangkok, Myanmar, and Cambodia recently underline the U.S. intention to return to the region. So we need to balance U.S. first, China, India, and I guess from my own opinion, Russia will also have a role to play in coming years because there are at least the four major powers that the region may, at least from the Thai perspective, they like to diversify.
See, this is exactly the point which I was trying to make. The presence of the increasing interest of the U.S. in this region.
Yes.
And the kind of subterranean tensions which exist between the U.S. and China on this about this region, and the way U.S. encourages India to take more and more interest in this region. These are all issues which are very complex and because of which India also needs to play. Whenever every step it takes, it has to take with a great deal of thought. And yeah, coming to you, Kojin Shen, you are from Brunei. The only thing we know only thing we know about Brunei here in this region is that about your king and how rich he is. But in any case, I'm sure Brunei also plays a pretty major role in these ASEAN nations. How does Brunei see its relations with India?
In terms of trade, India is an importer of our oil.
Okay.
So
yeah, we depend yes.
Recently, there was a recent agreement to increase trade in that area. But what India can also provide to Brunei is its expertise in technology, in science. One of the things Brunei is aiming for is an increase in knowledge economy to diverse from oil. We've been taken to the ITC. I believe it was called the ITC. No, not the ITC. The
ITCT?
The Tata.
Tata, okay.
The Tata in
Bombay?
In Bombay.
Tata Consulting Services.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were taken to there, and they have established headquarters in Malaysia, in Japan, in Indonesia, and they have proven to be the seventh, I believe, leader in information consulting services.
Information technology,
And I believe that if they were to come to Brunei, they can offer a lot.
Is there any presence of Indian IT sector in Brunei?
Yes,
as of now?
actually, a lot of experts from Singapore, from Malaysia, they're Indians.
Okay.
They have set up companies there, either as part of the Tata Group of the consultancy services or their own ventures. And they come to Brunei, they offer their services. And there's a presence there. And if India were to put more into there, I believe Brunei would see greater benefit from increased partnership.
Okay.
And Brunei, in particular in 2013, is the chairman of ASEAN.
Right. Okay. Anyway, we need to, we'll continue this discussion, but we need to go into a short break now. Please keep watching. I'll come back very soon and continue this discussion with our ASEAN friends. Please keep watching. Welcome back. We are discussing the Indo-ASEAN Commemorative Summit, which is going to be held in Delhi tomorrow. And I have with me here journalists from the ASEAN countries. Nophakhun.
Yes,
It's not easy to remember your names.
Yeah,
Please,
no problem.
Please pardon
no
me for that. The summit which is going to be held tomorrow.
Yes.
It is talking about a commemorative. They're going to come out with some statement on this.
Uh-huh.
One of the things which is being talking about is maritime.
The shipping.
Maritime relationship or cooperation between the Indian and ASEAN nations. How important is that to Thailand and to other countries in the region?
Yeah, I interviewed the Indian ambassador to Bangkok recently, and he also mentioned about the possibility of shipping linkages between India and also Myanmar again, and Thailand, and also toward Vietnam. Because at the present time, the shipping route is go down to the Strait of Malacca. It's a long way. And in Myanmar now, they have a big project, the Dawei Deep Sea Port project in Myanmar.
Right.
And that can be linked with Chennai or Madras in port in India. And then in Thailand is the Lam Chabang seaport. That again can go toward Vietnam in the East Sea. That will create a new shipping route that saving the shipping costs and the time. Because we shorten the route, we don't have to go down the cargo. Go down toward the
It will save a lot in terms of costs and things like that.
The westbound cargo.
But
yes.
What do you think has been the reason for the delay in this? Myanmar is a problem there?
Not really, because the government in Naypyidaw, the new capital of Myanmar, is giving the go-ahead for this project. But still, it will take quite a number of years before the project in Myanmar, the deep sea port project in Myanmar is completed. So it will take quite a number of years from now.
Okay, again, as far as Vietnam is concerned, as of now, the relations between India and Vietnam has been good, as you said, but the trade relationships has not developed as much as it should have. Which are the areas where you think Vietnam is looking towards India?
India have a lot of things to offer to Vietnam, I think.
Like he was talking about the
technology, economic, and everything. That's you are higher developed than Vietnam, I think.
What about China? Isn't Vietnam looking at China for all these things, or is there because of these tensions in the East Sea, as you say?
Yeah.
Would Vietnam look more towards India for this kind of economic and technological cooperation rather than China? Is that how
No,
Vietnam looks
I don't want to say that things. Vietnam economic relations between Vietnam and China remain good.
Okay.
We want to diversify it.
Okay. You want to have
we want to have
a wider choice.
Other resources. Yeah,
you want to have a wider choice.
Yeah, the wider choice.
Right.
That's make it easier for Vietnam. So in terms of such kind of field, technology and expertise, as my colleagues from Brunei had said recently, India have all of those things to offer to give to Vietnam. And instead, Vietnam also have something to give you. We have also market. We also have a lot of natural resources potential that has not yet tapped,
exploited
yet. And those things are
oil is one of the things.
Also, oil is still
but
now
India,
under
India seems to be a little hesitant as far as this issue is concerned. It came and went back, and so
that exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we expect India involve more presence more. Have a bigger presence in my country, in Vietnam, in those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yuli, as far as Indonesia is concerned, we all know the kind of civilizational relationship with India, which India and Indonesia has. In the recent times, has that civilizational relationship, has it increased or has it not? The kind of potential which India and Indonesia has it been tapped? Or do you think there is a lot of it which needs to be tapped?
There's a lot more. It's beginning.
Yes.
I would like to cite a few things. People laugh about it, but Khan was in Indonesia last week giving a concert to 25,000 viewers.
Who?
What's it? Your famous singer.
Singer? Which singer?
Actor. What's his?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay,
Did I say
Shah
it
Rukh
right?
Khan.
Yeah, I said it wrong. I apologize.
He's an actor. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
But he was there, performing.
Okay.
With dancers.
Okay.
So it was good. Now,
so he's well known. Are Hindi films well known in Indonesia?
Terribly.
Okay.
Very good.
No
And
wonder
what we
Shah
do
Rukh
is we collaborate also with Indian producers of melodramas. What are they? Soap operas.
Soap operas. Okay.
What we modify it.
Okay.
We buy the rights. We modify it into
Okay.
Indonesian television.
Okay.
That's just one of the many things. And we buy Indian bajai. Do you know that?
Bajai?
Bajai. The three wheel taxis.
Oh, okay.
We call them bajai. What do you call
Rickshaws.
them? Rickshaws.
Auto rickshaws.
Yep. Is bajai the trademark? I
Bajaj
think?
is the trade name.
That's
of
right. We
one
call it.
of the.
Yes.
Oh, it's called Bajaj there?
Bajai in
Okay.
Indonesia. A lot of things, but culturally, I think that they were also trying to promote a kind of a religious kind of tourism to bring Hinduism. Balinese are Hindus.
Yes.
Buddhism to India, and vice versa, to attract Indians to come and visit Borobudur, which is Buddhist, and some of our Hindu temples as well. That hasn't been exploited.
So, what has been during these last few summits which has been held, there has been any movement in this? As far as the tourism is concerned, does Indonesia get a lot of Indian tourists? They don't get a lot of Indian tourists.
Not much.
Do Indonesians come to India? Is India part of the
Not as much as we want to. Whenever there is an opportunity, I think on both countries, we talked about it, to travel, it's usually the Western countries, first choice. And if it's close by, Malaysians, for instance, they come to Indonesia. Indonesia will come to Singapore. I don't know where India go, but
India goes to Thailand.
yeah, right.
1 million tourists a year.
A lot of Indians go to Thailand.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they bypass Indonesia. And yet we have that connection. We have that historical and civilizational connection.
Yes. Yeah. Shen, Brunei. You were talking in the last segment about what Brunei would look forward from India. But what is it that Brunei can offer to India, apart from oil?
Apart from oil? That's a very good question, isn't it?
Okay. I'm sure that's. But quickly, last all four of you, before we wind up, what is it that you will expect when you go out? Is this your first visits to India?
My second time.
Second now. In any case, you studied here. Yuli in fact studied in India, and she studied in a college in Delhi, a very well known Lady Sri Ram College. So you are a veteran here. But what about others? What's your view about India now that you have come here second time? Have you come here before?
Yes.
You?
This is my first time.
First time. Anyway, please tell us that what is the kind of impression which you're taking back as far as Indian development is. I'm told that you've been to Bombay already.
I was here more than 10 years ago. It's a big difference in the late 1990s and today. I think India has modernized significantly over the past decade. And I'm happy to see that it's much more developed when compared to 15 years ago. And now I think India is poised to take on many challenges outside the country, especially in terms of connectivity with ASEAN countries, which you have 10 countries to work with India in this India-ASEAN summit.
Yeah. Okay. Again?
Yes. This is my third time to visit India. In 1986, I studied in India at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I graduated, postgraduate in
very
India.
good. Okay.
Yeah. And the second time, I visited India in 2007. At that time, I was a leader of the Vietnamese youth delegation to have an exchange, to participate in the exchange program with the National Cadet Corporation.
NCC.
NCC.
Yes.
Yeah, NCC. And during that time, we attend and watch the Republic military parade, and it's very interesting. And this is my third time. So because I have visited your country 3 times, I have some understanding to compare different time. When I first visited India, at that time, I think India was less developed than today. In New Delhi, for example.
Yes. New Delhi has changed dramatically.
From
1986. That was the time just when the Asian Games had just got over.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yuli, you have lived in India, I'm told, sometime in the late 60s or early 70s, and now. So you think that this change which has taken place in India, is it something which the people of Indonesia will be looking at, and are there any lessons to be learned as far as Indonesia is concerned?
I think we have a lot to learn from each other. I think we have a lot of commonalities, similarities. What needs to be promoted, in my opinion, is what we just talked about, is people-to-people activities. And being a media person, I would really like to see more exchanges, more articles of our respective countries in your, not necessarily in the front page, but more often, you know.
Yeah, quickly.
This is my first time in India.
Yes.
And when I arrived in Mumbai, I was detained for 2 hours by the immigration officials for some visa issues.
Right.
And I'm very thankful to the external ministry for pulling me out of that situation. But yeah, I've seen 2 different parts of India. I've seen Mumbai, I've seen New Delhi. And those 2 presents very sharp contrast to me. And that makes India very interesting.
Yes. We have completely run out of time, sorry. That makes India interesting. India is interesting, there's no doubt about it. But we need more and more people from other places to come and see and tell us what is it that makes it more interesting. We will look forward to our journalist friends from the ASEAN nations to coming here more and more often and seeing what's happening here. And hopefully India's relationship with all these countries will also improve in the coming days. Thanks to all my guests, Nophakhun from Thailand, Nguyen Phuong from Vietnam, Yuli Ismartono from Indonesia, and Shen from Brunei. Thank you very much. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on The Big Picture, same time.